Now, the first thing that I want to point out is that a lot of the CAD Learning Centers vary in appearance. Each customer has the ability to go in as an administrator and change the layout of the home page. So it may look a little bit different. And as we move through the training today, I'm going to go ahead and have two screens available here so that you can see just some slight differences. I have training.cadlearning.com and I have demo.cadlearning.com. And you can see from the home pages already, they're just a little bit different. Very similar layout, and I expect that any site that you're working in will also have a very similar layout with three main columns here on the home page. And you'll typically find the login box in the upper left-hand corner. But keep in mind, if you don't see something where you're expecting it, to just take a look around. It's possible an administrator has moved it over to another area. Now, there is some information that's available right here on the screen before I log in, so I can start poking around at some of the resources. I can browse the course catalog, I can take a look at some of these helpful links, but I won't be able to actually participate in any of the course materials until I log in. So we're going to talk about that first. Now, the login box, again, is available in the upper left-hand corner here, and it's going to prompt you for a username and for a password. And each individual user should have their own username and password. Some companies have opted to implement single sign-on, which means that they don't have to have users sign in through this box. They actually use network credentials to automatically sign people in. So if your company has implemented the single sign-on option, you may not have to go through this login step. There is a link right here to help you with lost passwords, because everybody loses their password eventually. You can click this link at any time to ask to reset your password. On the screen, it tells you that we will email you. Okay, so you're going to put in your username or your email address, and we will email that email address asking you to confirm that it's really you trying to change your password. That way somebody else can't come and just override a password. If you don't receive that email in a timely fashion, double check your junk folder. Sometimes those emails are screened out as spam, so it may have gone to your junk folder. If it's not in your junk folder and you still don't see it, come right back to the home page where the login box was, and on the opposite side in the upper right-hand corner is a link to the help desk. And from here you can create a request for help and just let us know you're trying to reset your password. We'll be happy to go in and help you. Now, we can't see what the password actually is, so we can't look it up, but we can reset it for you with a temporary password. That way you can log in and change it to something that you can keep going forward. There are some sites where you're going to be able to create a new user account as well, and I don't think, oh, I do have that set right here. So I come over to the second site and I see a second link, create new account. If your company has elected to have self-enrollment available for the users, you're going to see that link here. And if you click that link, you can create your own user account. You'll need to create a username and a password, your email address, first and last name, city, town, and country. Now, if there are any custom fields for your company, they'll also be on the screen here. So I can show you right down here. We put an example of a division, but that's going to vary from company to company. It depends on what's been set up. I'm going to go ahead and back up a screen here. If you are enrolling yourself as a user, each company has also set up which email domains are permitted. So you'll want to use your work email address when you do that to be sure that it is permitted email. And once again, just like resetting your password, it's going to send an email to your email address asking you to confirm it's really you creating the account. If you have trouble, if you don't get that email address, by all means, you can come to support for help. So when we log in, it's actually relatively quick and easy. I'm going to go ahead and type in my password here. Whoops. I typed it incorrectly. There we go. And it returns us to the home screen. And I'm going to go ahead and log in on the second one as well so that they're both logged in. And there we go. Now, the only thing that changes on the screen really is that the login box vanishes. And depending on the setup here, you may have a list of My Courses on the side. This is a list of all the courses you are currently enrolled in. So anything that you've already started, essentially. And that's the only thing that really changed once I logged in. The rest of the screen pretty much stayed the same. When I come over here to the other site, again, visually it's just a little bit different. Instead of having graphics to indicate the categories, they're listed here in text. But they both work the same way. Okay. So the main menu area is where we're going to provide some helpful links, and this is something that can be built upon by each company, so you may see additional resources here. But I have some samples listed out here. A CAD Learning administration video, user curriculum builder video, tips and tricks forum, and then a getting started guide, which is just a PDF document. So all of these resources are available to you. You just have to click the title, and it'll pop open a new window with either a document displayed. I'm just scrolling a little bit so you can see. You could, of course, save this or print it out, or with a video that's going to start playing automatically. And in this example, you won't be able to hear the sound because it's piping through my speakers, but there is somebody talking. So the helpful links area may be filled with all sorts of custom links as well. You may have links back to your company or to additional resources, so always check that area for information. In the category section, again, it may look a little bit different for each site. I have some buttons here indicating each category. On this one, I have just links. But the categories are always going to be listed in this center column underneath the welcome image. And from here, you can navigate or browse through the categories to see what courses are available. There is a search box right here so that you can search for any course by name. So if you're not sure which category a course is in, by all means, go ahead and type a name here. However, it's going to be about as specific as it can based on your entry. So if I type in the word Revit, I'm going to get far more results than I really wanted. I got 23 results because I have releases from 2010 through 2015 for Revit structure, architecture, MEP, certification courses, etc. So if I back up and just change my search a little bit and say, well, what I really want is MEP 2014, and then I'll say Revit. Only one match was found. So the more detailed the search, the more accurate results are going to be. But you can search for a course by name right on the home page at any time. You can also browse through the catalog by just clicking on the title here, and it'll give you a list of the courses that are in that category. So for 2015 releases, I have 36 courses. 2014, I have 29. When I click one of those titles, I get a list of the courses by name. In this case, there are 2 pages. So right up top, there's a place where I can navigate to the next page. So keep in mind, if you don't see what you're looking for right away, it could be that there were so many that it had to bounce onto a second page. And I can enter any of these courses right from here. I can just click on the title. Before I do that, I'm going to hop back to the other website that looked a little different. Again, if I click on the category name, it's going to bring me to a list of courses that are in there. Now, in this example, the list happens to be graphical. So it looks a little bit different, but it's giving me either the products for the course or certification prep. It broke it into 2 subcategories. And if I click one of those, I come to that same screen that I had in the other site. So even though it looks a little bit different based on customizations that each customer can make, the end result is the same. Now, once you've found a course that you're interested in, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the course title, and you're going to be prompted to enroll yourself as a member of the course. And you want to go ahead and say yes, as long as this is the course you meant to select. This is not a huge commitment when it says enroll in a course. What you're really doing is saying, I'm beginning this course, please start tracking my progress. And it will list you as a student and start tracking all your activity in that course. You only have to enroll one time. Once I've enrolled, it's going to add this to my list of courses, and then I can hop back into it anytime I want. So only the first time you enter the course will you enroll. Now, in the course view, you'll find again that it can be varied from company to company, but it's the same basic layout. We're going to have 2 columns, the column with helpful tools over here on the left, and then the main course here on the right. In the upper left-hand corner, we have a search lessons box. This comes in very handy if you're coming back and searching for help on just one particular topic. A lot of these courses are rather lengthy, which we'll talk about in a moment. So if you know you need help with something specific, you can just go type it right in there. And the software will search to see if there are any matching records. Now, if there were no lessons found, which is what happened when I typed in this, then you can come in and put some really specific information for your search. So it starts with just a basic keyword search. If there are no results, you can get more specific. In the list of results, so this time I got 25 results by narrowing it down to just pipe. All of these are links that will launch that lesson, so I can watch the lesson right from here. I don't have to go back to the course and find it. Okay. So if you're using this to search for just one item, it's a lot easier to do this than to try to find it in the list. In the list of lessons, each lesson is relatively short in time. We try to keep these between 3 and 5 minutes. They're very targeted. That way, each company can build their own sort of custom playlist of what's important to them, and they can hide anything that's not relevant. So it's really a modular piece that you can put together. So it can look a little bit overwhelming when you see how many lessons there are in a topic, but keep in mind they're all very short. Occasionally, we do have videos that go over 5 minutes. Kind of can't be helped depending on the topic, but most of them are going to be relatively short. And if you're having trouble navigating the screen, especially as you start working in the further chapters, as I come down here to the bottom, instead of having to scroll every time you return to this course, there is a little box to the side where I can bookmark the topic I'm working in. So if I click on that, it's going to go ahead and hide all the other topics for me, and it makes it a little quicker to load, and it makes it easier to navigate. When I'm ready to move on to another topic, if I've finished with topic 7 here, I can use this box that says jump to, and I can choose the next topic I want to work on, and it'll change the screen. If you want to return to a full screen view, that same box is still available on the side, and if I click it again, it will bring all topics back for me. So essentially expanding and collapsing the course. Do we want to see one topic at a time or the entire thing? To view any of these lessons, all you have to do is click the link. Okay, we do have the time expected in parentheses at the end. When I click a link, a new window is going to open, and it's going to prompt me for my email address. This is a relatively new change, so if you've used this system before, you may not have seen this before. Okay, all you have to do is enter your email address here, and it's looking for the email address that's associated with your user account. If you are not sure what it is, you can click right here to view your profile and see which email address you used when you signed up. So I'm just going to put in here CADLearning. If you check Remember Me, it's going to keep you logged in, so you don't have to do this again. So you should only have to do that one time. And then next. Now in this example, it's found more than one method for my email address because I happen to be on numerous websites. You would typically not see that. You're going to be directed to the right login screen based on your company. Okay, so as I mentioned, some people have elected for single sign-on. In this example, we're just going to choose CADLearning. And I'm going to click Next. And then it prompts me for my password. Same exact password that I used to log into the site in the beginning, but now I'm providing it for the video player. And I can even ask it to remember. Now the benefit to this, let me go ahead and pause this video before it gets started. There we go. Perfect. The benefit to that is the software is tracking each time you view a video, and it gives you some activity reports that you can come back and reflect on so that you can see which videos have I watched and which videos have I not. In the video player itself, there is an option down here to move on to the next lesson without having to return to the course. So you don't have to close this window, go back and pick the next one. You can just keep clicking Next when you're ready to move on. And by logging into the video player itself, that's what's tracking your history. So that's why we prompt you to log in to the video player in addition to the site. And again, you only have to do it one time as long as you've clicked Remember Me, and it'll keep track of all your history. Now on the screen here for the player, I just want to show you around a little bit. You can resize this, of course, if you'd like. It usually pops up in a fixed size, but you can change it. You can control down here where you are in the timeline. As I move my mouse around, you see how I'm getting a little thumbnail? So if I'm searching for a particular screen and I find it, I can just click that spot on the timeline and it'll jump to that part of the video. So you can go back and you can go forward and you can watch this as many times as you want until you have it under your belt. You can adjust the volume right down here. You can add closed captions. Not all of the videos will have closed captions, but most of them will. It depends on the release year. I think if we're going back to 2012, 11, and 10, it wasn't available at that time, but we do have it on all the newer videos. There's a place here where you can adjust the playback speed. So if you're trying to get something quickly, or if you're trying to slow down so you can see exactly what they're doing on the screen, you can change that. There are settings here for the speed and the file type. The system will automatically test your connection and deliver the best possible speed, but you can manually change it if you want to. And then you can make this full screen if it's easier for you. Now, beneath the video player, if I scroll down, we had the links to go to the previous lesson and to the next lesson. I also have the original transcript for the lesson. So this is everything the author is going to say in this lesson in a text format. We tell you if this is considered a beginning, intermediate, or advanced topic, and we let you know if this is a new feature for this release year. It may not necessarily be a brand new feature, but it means it's changed. If it says yes, it means it's different this year. If I scroll down to the bottom here, I'll see a series of tags. This is what's used for the search. And there's a place where we can request support if there's a problem or send in feedback about the video if we have any. So right from this screen, I can continue navigating through numerous videos, working on the course, and when I'm done, I can close this window, and it'll return me to the course screen. Now, in each topic, in addition to all of the lessons, we have a review quiz. So topic number 1, Getting Started, has a review quiz. Topic number 2, Schematic Drawings, has a review quiz. These quizzes will contain questions about only the topics that were covered in that section. So if I have gone through these lessons, I can go ahead and take this quiz to see how much I absorbed and circle back and rewatch anything I didn't quite understand. It is not mandatory that you take these quizzes. You don't have to take it and pass to move forward. But it is very helpful to make sure that you had a good understanding of what you saw. Okay. Each of these are containing questions about just their topics, but at the very top of the course, before we even started topic 1, there were 2 assessments. We have an overall knowledge assessment and a skills assessment. And these 2 quizzes work the same as the chapter quizzes, but they have a lot more questions. We're going to find questions in these from all of the topics listed below. And you're probably thinking, what is the difference between those 2 quizzes? The overall knowledge assessment is recall-based. So it's going to ask you a question, you're going to think about it, and you're going to provide an answer. It's all multiple choice. So what can you remember? The skills assessment is actually going to have you open up a file and perform a task, and then come back and answer the question. So this is a little bit more hands-on. And in order to complete the skills assessment, you will have to have access to the actual software through Autodesk. So in this example, MEP, but whatever course you're happening to work in. Now to take a quiz, any quiz, regardless of which one it is, they all work the same way. So let's go back to the skills assessment. All you have to do to begin is click Attempt Quiz Now. And the quiz will be displayed on the screen. Now each of the questions is listed here, and they're always multiple choice. Depending on the size of the quiz, it could take some time to work through. Okay, let's take a look in this example. I have 40 different questions, and each one is asking me to go perform a task in the software. That could take some time. So I want you to know that down at the bottom, there is a button that says Save Without Submitting, which essentially says, save any answers I've provided so far, but don't close this yet, don't grade it yet. Let me come back and finish later. And then when you are done, you'll submit all and finish, which will close your attempt and give you a grade. So I'm going to go through and just randomly select a few answers so that you can see what happens. But of course, you guys would actually read this, open up that file, perform that task, and then give an answer. We're just going to make up a bunch of answers. And we're going to see what we get. It's always a fun little gamble. I usually like to answer 10 questions. Whoops, a little too fast. There we go. And I'm going to skip the rest. No need to torture you. Down at the bottom, again, I have my choice. I can save without submitting if I'm going to return and finish this later, or I can submit all and finish. And it does warn me that once I close this attempt, I can't come back and change the answers. And that's okay. I've finished. I'm ready to submit it for a grade. So I'm going to say okay. And I immediately get the results. So we give you a skills assessment review screen, and it does tell you this is attempt number 1. So that's an indicator you will be able to try this quiz as many times as you want. And it'll always tell you which attempt you're looking at. This is going to show you on the screen when you started the quiz, when you finished, and how long it took, how many you got correct, and look at that. That's not bad. I got 4 out of 10 correct, and I didn't even read the questions. That was impressive. And then your grade. Each of the questions will be listed below so that you can review them one at a time. If it was correct, you're going to see a green check mark here. If it was incorrect, you're going to have a little red X and hopefully some feedback. We try to provide feedback on all of the incorrect answers. The feedback is tied to the answer you picked, so it's different for each of these. It's not going to give away the answer. It's just going to give you a little bit of feedback. And if you have selected to skip one of the questions, let's go down to number 11. Because I stopped there, or anything after 10 really. No feedback can be provided. It's still counted incorrect, even though there's not a little red X, but we couldn't give you feedback because there was no answer selected, and each answer has its own feedback. Okay, but it will still count against you in the grade. Now, here's what's really important about this screen. The whole reason it's worth looking at the results. Based on the questions that you got wrong, the software is going to give you a list of recommended lessons to go watch again, or for the first time if you hadn't watched them yet. So this is going to look at each and every question, and it's going to grab each question that was wrong, find the lesson it was covered in, and it gives you a little curriculum. So this is the Curriculum Builder tool. This tool is available in 2 ways. This is an automatic curriculum based on your quiz results, and all you have to do is save it. You can give it whatever name you'd like. These custom curriculums are user by user, so only me. You will have your own set of custom curriculums. There is a way I can share it if I choose to. If I want to come in and share it, I'll show you that in just a little bit. But by default, I'm the only one who's going to see those curriculums. Okay. From the home page, there was a box called Curriculum Builder. And I can get to my curriculums at any time by clicking that link. So here's the one that we saved. I can view it by clicking the title. And I can launch any of these videos right from here. When I'm done with a curriculum, I can delete it. There's no harm in having it here, though, if you want to hang on to it. And if I want to share it with somebody, as I mentioned before, I can by email. So you would just type somebody's email address here and send it. Okay, but again, by default, it's only going to be in your setup. Now I'm returning to the home screen here, and let's jump back into the course. Remember that over here we had a list of courses that we were already registered in, so I do not have to go and register again. I can just click the link. It'll bring me right back into the course. So we took a look at how to search by name for a lesson or topic, how to view the topics in the list, and how to take a quiz. Over to the side here, we also have exercise files, and this is another optional piece. You do not have to use the exercise files, but you certainly can. Exercise files are the original files used by the instructor when recording that we provide to you in a download, so that you can open them up and practice alongside and make sure you understand what you saw. If I click on Exercise Files Download, it brings me to a list of files that are available. Depending on the size of the course and the size of the files, you may have numerous downloads. We may have one for each chapter. We try to condense it to as few downloads as possible, but some of these files are rather large. Okay. So on the screen for this course, I have AMEP 15 data zip. These are my exercise files. It's a zip file. I have a PDF reference. This is going to help me understand which file belongs to which lesson. And then I have a separate download for skills assessment. So I had mentioned when we took the skills assessment that you would need to open a file and perform a task. We give you those files right over here with the exercise files. And they will typically have their own download. If you don't see it, that means the files were in the full set. Okay. Now this reference document, let me close this, is also available right here on the screen. So you can open it up and view it anytime you want. You can also save it to your computer. This is a PDF that's going to list for you all of the lessons in a course. So this is going to match the actual lessons in the course. And for each lesson, what file was open on the instructor's screen. Now in the beginning, I don't have anything listed, of course, because in the beginning it was all conceptual. We're just sort of reviewing the screen. But as I scroll down, you can see exactly which file is open at the time. So these files are all in the zip that you're going to download, and this is letting you know which one to open if you want to practice what you saw in that lesson. So this is your reference file. Now again, those exercise files are optional. You don't have to use them, but they're incredibly helpful for people who learn best by doing. It lets you sort of test your knowledge. Did I understand it or not? And the last thing that we need to take a look at here is the link to your profile. Now we can get to your profile from within a course or at any time, no matter what screen you're on, by using your name in the upper right-hand corner. So when I click on my name, it brings me to a profile screen. And from here, I can change my password. So if you want to reset your password manually at any time, I can check on internal messages in the system if your company uses the messages. I can edit my profile if I need to make a change to my first name, my last name, my email address, etc. So you can get to your profile from within a course or from the home page. And in your profile view, you can change your name, you can change your email address, and you can reset your password. You'll have access to all of that. On the home page, as I mentioned before, the curriculum builder is listed right here, so you can hop back into those curriculums anytime you want. You don't have to go to the course and then the quiz and then the results. You can get to them from here. And there's a link available to build a curriculum from scratch. So in addition to the curriculums that you are going to have presented to you at the end of a quiz, you can come and create one on the fly by just picking a course and entering some keywords. And it will search the course lessons for any lessons that match your keywords and put them into a curriculum so that you can save it. And of course you can come back and share that, or you can delete it whenever you're ready. So what we took a look at was how to log into the website, how to navigate through the home page, how to search courses, how to enroll in a course, how to view your videos and your lessons, how to use the video viewer, how to take a quiz, how to download exercise files, how to use the curriculum builder tool, and how to view and change your profile, which is probably a lot more than it sounded at the beginning. If you have any questions, you are welcome to type them in the question box over on the side and submit them, and I will stay for a few minutes to see if any questions come in, and I'll read them off as they do so that everyone can benefit. If you do not have any questions, then I thank you for your time, and you are free to go.